Hi everybody, just waiting for people to come on.
Yeah.
So,
Not in my pendulum.
oh wow, I can see that you're actually on. Alright, hello, we're waiting for you.
It's Kiza.
Oh god, long distance wave. Alright. Oh, you got more people on yours?
A few people coming on.
Yes.
Hello, everybody coming on here. I'm with my beautiful friend and veterinarian, Dr. Crystal Lord.
Yes.
And she is an amazing integrative vet who I've had the pleasure of working with, and she's also, she has worked with all my animals and treated them, which has been amazing. Yes. I love her work. And she's actually been working now with my L.A.B elixirs. And
yes.
I'm just going to bring them out. Which are these? And has asked me if I would come on a live with her to discuss the elixirs and how they work with pets as well as the owners.
Hello. Yes, so basically I am going to interview Emily today just to find out, get some more clarity about how people can use their elixirs for their animals now that they're integrated into my clinic, and also how it may benefit themselves. So we had some questions submitted from my Instagram. We're going live on both, so if I'm looking at both screens, don't worry. All right, so the first question is, how are the elixirs created?
Okay, so I'll go back some time. My story started after my husband passed away 20 years ago, or over 20 years ago, and I found myself delving into a world I had no clue of prior to his death. I always called myself the diamond and gold girl, and really had no understanding of anything to do with energy, frequency, or spirituality for that matter. So what I found is I started working with crystals. So something awakened within me, and I started working with crystals and playing with them. I started finding that I was doing some hands-on healing. I went and did a crystal course. After I did this crystal course, I then started finding myself playing with creating an essence. So when we talk an elixir over an essence is normally talking about singularity, so a single essence. And then you create a synergy, that's the way I look at it, and it creates an elixir. So I was creating because of my love of crystals, I started creating these water frequencies.
And I'm a crystal, remember?
Yes, you are. I started creating water frequencies with
I remember seeing you do
with
them.
crystals.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't sure what I was playing with at the time. So no, you wouldn't have I didn't know you at that point.
But I have seen you do some.
Yeah, you will, absolutely.
But you were already past that.
Yeah. So this was all before 2010. Yeah. That I started doing all of this, and I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, and it was definitely before 2010 because I then went on to do a crystal light healing course, which was actually with Simone Matthews at the time.
Beautiful.
But what it did was it integrated and showed me that everything that I was doing was actually correct. And this is why it's so important as well that we go with our intuition. And, this is why going to sacred sites like I do as well, it reactivates, reawakens, reconnects us to our past and to the knowledge that we already hold within us. So what then I started doing was and that's actually how, for anyone else who does follow it, I created this card deck as well. So I'm the author of a Sacred Geometry Healing card deck. The reason I bring that up is because what started happening was, as I was creating my elixirs, I started finding that I used to create a template myself, and I would use that template then to create the earlier elixirs. But as time went on, they were becoming, what I was channeling was becoming more complex, and I had to find someone to help me to create some templates, which then became my card deck, and they became the basis for and quite a few of my or minimum of 12 of my elixirs. So and my elixirs started working with them from home, creating. I actually always channeled, so whatever I heard, they started off, funnily enough, as animals first. I had no idea, why. I just know I had to follow what I was getting because it just felt so right. And that's where it started with spider, and it then went on to owl, wolf, snake, and whale, condor I created in Peru. So what I started to find was the more I started to create, the more complex they started to become. And every single one is channeled, and they all have a synergy of energy within them. So they're all created with, of course, water. And the water is always of a higher frequency, especially when we're in sacred sites. Specifically, we're already going really into that fourth stage of water, which is plasma. And I would then bring in crystals, I bring in plant matter, I bring in fruit, I can bring in animals, you name it, because everything holds a frequency. And so all these frequencies together then create these high vibrational elixirs that we can work with.
Yes.
So it's gone in stages. I've been doing this now probably for minimum 15 years. And every time I go to another sacred site, which I'm actually about to head off again, and I'm going to Ireland and Wales and Scotland.
And for my followers, she goes to Egypt a lot, which is, if you've seen her page and her pictures, it's just wonderful. Like, she's been to some very, very, very special places.
Yeah, definitely. And to be able to go to these places actually allows me to connect in with these sacred energies. And through these sacred sites, I then can create a number of these elixirs, which the last however many have been created in sacred sites. So from Peru, in the Andes, with watching the condors flying, to working with Wachuma, which is Munakia, which means I love you, to working with some of the alchemies of Sekhmet, Isis, Osiris. I've had some profound experiences with that, to Mapun, which I created in Uluru, and that was really beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's really it. And
so I guess basically, like, each elixir has a very deep-seated essence and way that it works within the body. So
correct.
That's how it can be applicable to animals and to you. That's a beautiful story, Emily. So let's go on to the next question. So what is the dosage for pets? And probably, like, which ones would you recommend the most for pets? We were having a discussion about how what you feel for yourself is often what your pet needs, because they have an interconnected relationship, which I totally agree with, because I'm studying classical Chinese medicine at the moment. I've already studied traditional Chinese medicine. Don't think I'm not qualified. But classical Chinese medicine is about how most diseases actually start in the brain, in the mind, and also that connection you have with your animal is very, very close. So if I'm treating the animal, I'm actually treating the human, and this is where these elixirs are really, really good, because we can address a lot of issues on a lot of different levels within the body, even going down to the DNA.
I think it's really important for people to know that our bodies consist of 60-70% water, and I'm assuming that animals are the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also understanding that water stores memory. So at a cellular level, when we are at an optimal frequency, our bodies are at an optimal frequency. When we, are when we're out of balance, that's when, and we're continually out of balance, that's when we start to see dis-ease entering into the body. It's understanding that energy is, when we start talking, I've just lost my train of thought. The emotion is energy in flow.
Yes.
So it's all about creating, going from dissonance into a state of resonance. And that's what we truly need. And there is so much going on in our world at the moment that it is really affecting us on a very deep level. And if it's affecting us, it's also affecting our pets.
Yes.
And one of the things that we've spoken about now on a few times is that our animals actually take on our emotions. They absorb, a number of these animals truly absorb our emotion, which then if they're not being able to transmute that, they're holding on to it
and manifests as disease.
Exactly.
Like, actually, it does.
Yeah.
And I think what these elixirs are really good for doing in conjunction with treatments, classical Chinese medicine treatments, is aligning us with our inner blueprint. We all have a blueprint and we all have a destiny. When we're veering off, whether it's due to the issues in the world or issues in your family, you're going to feel not correct, your mind's not going to be right, and that's when disease is going to happen. So having tools like this to ground you, to get you in alignment to where you're supposed to be, they're very, very beneficial. So
absolutely. So going back to what you did say, in terms of these elixirs, I honestly believe you can use any of them. And I've actually created, I went to print it out, but I don't think it worked. But what I've done is I've pretty much, written one or two sentences for each elixir on how they can, or why you would use them for our pets.
Yes.
So you could really do any of them. And my suggestion is that whatever you're going to use on yourself, you can always use on your pets. And when you're doing it for your pets, because there is alcohol in them, we can ingest them. You can also, if you don't like alcohol, you just put them in water, which is what?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So for your pets, you give it to them in water. Like you can just put it straight into their water bowls.
Yes, I recommend filtered water in a ceramic bowl is best, just to keep the energetics.
Yeah. The other thing I've done as well, so if you feel like with my dogs, is I've just got a few drops, put it on my hand, and then just put them on their paw.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you can
it's just absorbing into there.
Yeah.
I mean, the alcohol base is really just to keep it so it doesn't go off. And doing it that way with your pets, as far as I understand, doesn't affect them in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
So
All right. So we are going to get into some practicalities of how we can select these. But hang on. Basically, we want to. The other questions I got: where can we buy them? Well, you can buy the kit from Emily, the stock bottles. You can buy elixirs made up of your choice from me if you're coming with your pets. We have just been talking about making up. I think I will start making up little kits for you and your animals to have on hand with specific frequencies that will be of benefit, like the pain relief, or like the love frequency, or and blue lotus for calming. Just little first aid kits to have at home, so then you're covered for the basics. But then when you really want a detailed selection, come in. We can we're going to show you now how you can select them using cards, using a pendulum. I can surrogate muscle test for your animal, or just reading through the books and seeing what you know clicks
Stands
with you.
out,
It's there's no hard or fast rules. You can't really overdo it with these. They're energetic.
And I think that's important to say, that they're not going to interfere with anything medically that you or your pet is on. But please understand, they are in no means to be swapped out for any of your prescription medication. That is not what they're for. They're a complementary therapy, and they are all based on frequency. So there is nothing in.
Yeah, exactly. So what should we do? A pendulum?
So one of the ways, I've been asked this question a few times in terms of how do you choose, and you can do it by going through the card deck. In particular, the master cards. A lot of them are related to the master cards of the deck. You can go through. So
I just show them some of the cards just in case they haven't seen. They're beautiful cards. Great to even have at home. I'm bringing them to the clinic. I have 2 decks at home, and I just but they're just beautiful. Like, you know, you might pick up the frequency of 417.
And 417 is all about releasing traumatic experiences. So there might, you know, every one of us have been through trauma, including your pet, and trauma is very different for each one of us.
My favorite, the love frequency.
Oh, it's my favorite too.
That's because we're looking for boyfriends.
That too. But it's not just about finding a soul connection. It's about the love of self.
Yes, we have a love of ourselves. You know, pineal activation. You know, so many great cards in here. Like, seriously, based on sacred geometry. So I love this deck. I pull them for myself. I just see what frequencies I should listen to when I go to bed, or what I need to meditate on. I find them highly beneficial.
And like, for example, you know, if you've just done surgery on an animal, there's a couple of things you could look at. You can look at the 285 frequency, because that's really good for the healing aspect. You can look at even the 174, because that's really good. It works and gives it like an anesthetic effect.
Exactly.
Depending on, you know, that's something for you to ensure you would yourself. But there could be, you know, if the dog has gone through some form of trauma, it's also about maybe finding another elixir that can be used for that, you know, not necessarily a solfeggio frequency, but something like the Munaki or pain away. Adding that, you know, that extra little sheath of love.
And you won't believe how many times I muscle test animals and they want to open up their hearts.
Isn't that
It's so cute. And I'm like, oh, my
goodness. So you do the muscle test. I don't muscle test. So for me, it's just going with my intuition. So I just always ask what, you know, when I connect into my clients, what is it that this person needs? 2, I say to the client, you know, how about you choose? So you go through. If nothing stands out for you, then with pleasure, I'm more than happy to choose something for you. And just so people know, I don't have it on my website as it is, but apart from, you know, doing individual elixirs and selling them that way, I can integrate them just as you can when you're giving something to your patients. The other thing to do is a pendulum. So I can always just go into the box and either doing over the actual elixirs themselves, or
do you want to show
there is a label on the box as well. So for anyone that does use, not everybody uses pendulums, and that's okay, but it's just another mean. It's just a basic yes or no. So it's always programming your pendulum to show you what a yes is, and then showing you what a no is, which way it goes. And that is, you know, we can do that. So if we're going to ask, do I want to do this one, you can get your yes and no, or you just put your pendulum over the box and just ask what it is that I need to work with. You can also, because there's 5 different there's
Whereas-
5 levels in the box, you can just say, well, is it in the first level, second level, third level,
That
fourth?
when I'm
fifth.
muscle testing, I do that too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
is it
Yeah.
that one, and then I'll go through them. But yeah,
Yeah, because that's a good way of just eliminating what you
without
don't
having
need.
to go through all of them.
Yeah.
Let's just show them how cute the bottles are.
Yeah.
Look at them; they're so cute. This one
So-
is 396.
Yeah, fear.
Fear,
Yeah, releasing fear.
releasing fear.
Mhm.
There's some.
And finding your joy,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, I just find these beautiful just to add. It gives you a sense of, I don't know, positivity and healings for yourself and for your animals, just having these on hand. So,
Yeah.
I love using them. Everyone at the clinic's so interested in them, and that's why we're doing this video, just to give you a little sneak peek of how
Yeah.
the professional, the creator uses them.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing what I did a long time ago is I actually created like little cards out of the labels themselves. So they're really great. So if you were to say, okay, if you were to ask, what is it that you need to use?
Let's see what I need today. What do I need today?
Yeah.
Let's pick one. This one. What have I got? Snake medicine.
Ah. So
So-
then you can take snake.
My spiritual and physical bodies are transforming by reweaving, reactivating, and cleansing my DNA patterns.
Yeah. And so every single elixir has its own little affirmation for you to speak out aloud or just to read to yourself. You know, it's all intention of what you are creating and or what you are here to be using. So,
Jeez, sorry, we're on 2 cameras here, and mine is like the less one. Mine's the
your little robot keeps
yeah. I've got a weird tripod. That's
Oh,
right.
I'm going to give you that. So when we use the elixirs, and it'll be the same for your pet, it doesn't matter who's using them, you always succuss the bottle first, because that just makes sure that the integrity of the energy of it is, you're keeping it at a height that, energizing it every time you're using it.
Yes,
okay,
great
by
tip.
succussing it. So what I tell people, or what I have written on the labels, is to use it 9 drops 3 times a day. That is purely a guideline.
Yeah.
I tell people, intuit it, go with what feels right for you. I personally go with the numbers of 3, 6, 9 because of the sacredness of these numbers and
Yes,
the meaning.
Emily
with
is
them.
very good with numerology numbers and interpreting them.
It's more on that,
Yeah.
So going by that, so for me, that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Again, you can do what you like. So I've just done the succussing. So now you, under your tongue, you then put them.
You
Crystal's
make
going, yeah,
Okay, ready,
you
guys?
chose it.
I did see.
Yeah. A lot of the time, it's very subtle what you start to feel. Sometimes it takes, a little bit of time to really start to feel a change with them. What I find though, of late, I've really been finding the energy really, really intense. And I'm finding that aspects of like anxiety has been a little more for me. The doubt, the questioning, just, I always go outside, I always ground myself, and
She's
I
got
go
a beautiful
out.
house.
Me,
I'm in an apartment, 10th floor. I have no grounding.
But I'll do that. But what I find is my biggest one that I absolutely love is Blue Lotus.
Mine too. I take it at the clinic all the time. When I'm buzzing
My
around.
bottle's empty, so you can't. I
No,
have to
that's-
fill it. But I used it before. The Blue Lotus
Yeah.
spider has been amazing as well to be using, and even Seed of the Soul you could use. You go with whatever feels right.
Yeah, I made up a mix. I think I had Starlight,
Oh, beautiful.
Blue Lotus.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Blue
And
Lotus just
I
gives you
think
that
the
insight,
love
and
frequency.
I find it really is calming.
I've been using it a lot.
Yeah.
My bottle will be empty soon.
And the Monarchy, because it's I love you.
Yeah, so many of the animals pick that one.
I love it. I love it. And like, if I just can chat, I've got 3 that are in there called Owl, Wolf, and Snake. They were three of one of my very first. So that order in which they're in here pretty much is how I start. Basically, I've made them in an order, starting with bear. Bear is about retreating. Bear is about, so if you've got an animal who's been injured or has been in a situation that has caused a lot of emotional distress, it's about retreat. It's about, feeling, starting the internal healing on ourselves, because we're going inward. What does bear do? He retreats.
For cooler weather as well, where we need to retreat and to sleep and process everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, going into spider, but owl, wolf, and snake. So I never understood why I made them at that time, like as I was making them, until I actually made snake. But I never questioned it. I just did it. And what is, you keep talking about, what's interesting is you keep talking about how your animals go for munaki, which that one I made in Peru, just so you know. But what's so beautiful is what spirit, or what I was shown was owl is all about opening our mind. This is consciousness and awareness that we are bringing forward. This is us stepping up into that fifth dimensional aspect from the 3D, which is what we're here to create. And wolf is all about the open heart. So it's that that wolf mentality, that wolf pack mentality. It's that open heart, it's family, it's love. And so when we have an open mind and an open heart, we go into snake, and snake is all about that next level of it's about shedding that old to create the new, and we transmute, we transcend, and we're going into, it's like the DNA is actually going into, and that going into that next level of frequency, and that is what we are creating. So
beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. That's just how Spirit showed me, and so I've just followed through with it all.
And can I say that I do see, we've seen Carl Camden Birch before, and he's got this fantastic frequency bed, and the only frequency elixirs he trusts are Emily's.
And I just love that.
And I, because I had no idea she had been to him, and I was there and I saw her cards, and I was like, hey, do you know Emily? And he's like, oh, she's the only one that's got the elixirs with the right frequencies. So,
I love that.
Like, these are legit.
Yeah.
If you're questioning, no, they're actually really good.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any other questions? Let's, okay, where can I buy them? We've kind of... So, Emily, are you doing like readings and recommendations for people at the moment? Or
I'm not doing...
She's going away, so...
Yeah. I'm not doing readings at the moment. I'm choosing that's not where I feel I need to be doing.
Okay.
But the elixirs, any of the elixirs you can buy from me as a dosage bottle, or as a set. You can buy them as a practitioner set, which is a stock. You don't have to be a practitioner to do it, but you can do. I'm open to anyone using them that way, but also as a dosage. However, for all of your patients, you can make up any of them as well, and you can integrate them all because you have the stock set. So,
and I just want to say, sorry, I'm going on, but if you are yourself getting into healing yourself, animals, working with people, Reiki, kinesiology, this is a really good set to have on hand, because it's gonna it will come up. It'll people or animals will need it. So it's great to have that in conjunction with your other elixirs that you have, like the bush flowers and starlight. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them.
You can integrate them all. So if you, because I think you work with
I've got
the Australian bush flower.
Yes, I do.
So you can integrate them with mine. It doesn't matter. It's all frequency. It's what you feel right by. I tell people there's no rights and wrongs with how we use them.
Yeah.
But I always say you've got to go with the gut, because, our intuition is the GPS of the soul.
Yeah.
And you can't get to you can't work at a better level than working with your gut feel.
Agree. Yeah. Everybody should live like that. When we don't live like that, that's when it's problematic. But however, of course it's hard, but get the elixirs and they can help you on your way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they'll
Absolutely.
be part of your journey and your animals. So yeah, everything we're talking about also is for the animals.
Yeah. And please note as well, if you choose not to ingest them, that is okay. You can rub them on body parts, you can put them in your water, you can put them in food, you can carry a bottle, you can put it under your pillow. My only recommendation is do not have it near your EMFs. Like, don't keep them next to your phones or televisions or any other wiring. Try and keep them away from that.
Yeah.
That would be the best bet.
Yes, that's just like homeopathics.
Yes,
Keep them-
same. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if anyone has any other questions. Let me have a look. Yes. Okay. Great. Daphne has been loving hers. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? If just quickly pop in a question. We've already answered some questions. But otherwise, we'll let you ruminate on everything that we've said.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. I think
we're done now.
I do too. It's been amazing, but highly recommend Dr. Crystal Lord for anyone watching as a veterinarian. Amazing integrative East-West medicine, and I just
Mostly
absolutely
Eastern these days.
yeah, mainly Eastern. I absolutely love it because I think it's the way we need to go, and it's holistic. And you know, when we look at holistic, put a W at the front as in whole.
Yes.
So it's looking at the whole body, you know, the causes, not just band-aiding, which is what I absolutely love with what you do, and honor it so much. And to be able to bring these into your clinic is
I love it.
a blessing.
I
So
gotta say
thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
for creating them. Yes.
You're welcome. But yeah, any questions, please feel free to ask either one of us. And
Yeah, you can DM us, and and if anyone want to come in for a consultation with the animals, then we can just talk about mostly the elixirs and whatever they need, then come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put your website too. Like we can just swap on, because we're live on both, so we can put a website on each of where you can either purchase from me or to go for a treatment with you.
Yeah, and purchase you.
As
I
purchased
can make
through
you
you,
up.
yeah.
Whatever you choose in
Yeah.
bottles for you and your animals. So, yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now, all right. Now we're going to do